Tonight, I would like to speak about a topic that I like very much is about reading books. So there are a lot of people who always tell me that they are not reading books because they find it boring. So I um, I understand why they are thinking like that. It's because basically when they were younger, they took one book, they read it, and they didn't find something interesting in it, or maybe they took several books. So they deduce from that that actually books are not really useful for them, and that just reading books is just a big loss of time. But what those people don't understand is that all books are not equal. So what you have to pay attention to is not the number of words inside a book. It's the person who wrote the book and the quality of the information which is contained inside the book. So each book has a certain value, and there are some books which are much more valuable to you if you read them than others. So the problem in reading books is not about um, reading and finishing the book. It's about finding the right books for you. So this is a problem of selection. Though there are several books like this one, for example, Mastery from Robert Greene. This book provided so many insights to me. It's incredible. So there are some books that have the power to change your life, and the the thing is that also you shouldn't be focused on trying to finish the book from cover to cover. This is totally irrelevant and useless. You have to open the book and find the things which are useful for you inside the book and read only those things. Or if you really like this book, of course, you can read it totally. But there's also one thing that I noticed that a lot of people don't know is that reading a book faster is not good for you. You have to read book slower actually. Why? Because if you read book slower, like a small passage every day, you will retain much more information inside your memory than if you just take one day to read everything. Why that? Because people have some kind of short-term memory that keeps the information for a certain time and then forget about it. And only a certain number of information from the short-term memory can go into the long-term memory. So if you take one day to read one book from cover to cover by trying to read very fast, you will only remember something like 7 or 9 keywords from this book. You will not get really the core information from this book, and you will not really and keep that and transform that into your way of thinking. So what I recommend is to just read a small passage every day, or as I am doing, what I'm doing is that I'm not only reading but I'm also hearing the books. I found that this website audible.com is really good because you can buy the audible version of the books, and while I'm doing other things like walking the dog or anything like that, I can hear for the book. um, and every day I just listen for 20-30 minutes for one book, and after that, for 1 week, 2 weeks, I can finish one or two books, and I remember almost everything inside the book. So every time I read a book, I have more information and knowledge, and I am able to develop more my thinking on one topic. So if you're interested to read books and to start to develop yourself, I suggest that you first search for the right books for you, which kind of topic you are interested in, and then search the best book on this topic. So, so the best way to do that is to look for the author. So find who is the most famous people in this topic that you are interested in, and search for his books and start to read his book. And you will have a lot of chances that this guy will really have written some very interesting things. Now, the final thing that I'm doing also is that don't stay stuck on one book, which means that if you're reading and at a certain moment you feel stuck, that it's not very interesting, or you don't think in your head that you have to finish this book before starting another one. This is stupid. You must, if you're not interested, just take another book, start to read it, and you can still come back to the previous book once you will be interested in reading that. You have to follow your interest when you are reading the books, not just read because you feel you have to finish it. That's also one thing that I realized some time ago. And after realizing all these things, I started to read a lot of books. So I think for this year I read more than 100 books. And I got so many interesting insight from that now I'm so happy that I found this thing. So this is why I'm sharing that today, for the people who are also willing to develop themselves by reading books. This is one of the best way, and also one of the cheapest way to develop yourself. So thank you for watching.